Hello, ladies. It is 3 a.m. I'm sitting here with candles lit and jazz music, and I just listened and followed form principle and deleted the entire recorded answers to the Q&A, and I'm going to turn this into a teachable lesson. It was not by accident. It was very intentionally because of the energy that is currently in the cosmos with this transit. And I posted the chart here. Today is a third line day. It is early in the morning, 3 a.m. as I said. And the second line day yesterday, where it started, the energy was very heavy. And so I could feel my body is tired. It was a big day on Monday, a lot of fractals rearranged and shifted. And when the mutation happens and pushes through your cells, it's exhausting. And so my intention to record the energy update and everything was there. And then there's currently the ego that is very strong in the field. And I know this energy, and I know to discern when is the ego pushing, when does the ego want something, the not self, and when is the ego willing, wanting to do something because the ego sees value in it, in the outcome, and desires to put work into it. So what happened was that I started recording and went through my day and kind of went through the questions. And while I'm doing that, I was really feeling my body was not on board with it, because this heaviness, there was not full clarity, it was not the zing. And I'm going to share this with you to model you the permission to pivot and make a different decision, even though your mind thought that your day goes like this, or you work on something and then it turns out into a completely different way. So if I would have shared the recorded answers and transmissions, it would actually have gone totally against my own mechanics. I am teaching and modeling human design. And if human design is what I'm teaching and leading my business in design, then I have to follow form principle. And so when I'm sitting there and feel the resistance to do something, the transmitter doesn't kick in. So there's a misconception of many people that they think they can use their design for something, or understand the channels and use them for something in business. But it doesn't work this way. It's the opposite. We are our design. We are our channels. We have to live them, understand them on a cellular level with personal consciousness to be recognized for it. And that requires such a deeper understanding. And while I was going through this process, I also decided and noticed that the whole way how I lead clients and what I teach in the stage, that everything is so quickly evolving and shifting and getting a deeper and deeper and deeper layer, that I thought, instead of just informing you that it will come tomorrow, I'm going to give you the behind the scenes of my process, because it is so important for all of you to understand that form principle leads, no matter what we say or our mind wants us to do or think we should be doing. because of our own expectations, our own plans, or then if we actually want to do something different, the fear of other people's projections or expectations. So my form, it's my body, didn't want to do it. Okay. And now, after these hours went by and by, I really feel with every hour going out of the second line into the third, the energy feels lighter. And right now, the entire field, the collective, is very much infused. It's ego week. So everybody has the channel of surrender defined, and the ones who don't have it, or the ones usually don't have it, it's conditioning. It's highly conditioning. It doesn't mean that you are better at selling or now are able to transmit. It just happens. And then there are people who are, can use it better, and some worse. And what we see in the field is a lot of distorted ego, which is overly egoistic, it is manipulative, it is too much willpower. People are pushing their will, using the willpower to push against their own authority. So whenever transits are there, is conditioning, and we always have to check in with our strategy and authority. And my authority is my body, and it is a no for posting what I've recorded. And it is a no because the level, the quality, and how it got created is not my standard, period. So I'm not doing it. And I'm not apologizing for it, or I'm not explaining why I'm doing it. I'm sharing the behind the scenes of my process to get there, to model something that you get to do in your business. You have to do it if you're really seriously and committed to live your design. And not only in your business, in your entire life. Like, this is super important to, like, how willing are people to follow really authority when in situations of other auras they cannot hold it. That's exactly the most challenging thing. We can talk about boundaries and standards and all that, journal on our amazing affirmations and talk with our mentors about these things, but it all comes down to what happens in aura when we are entering other auras, when we get conditioned, no matter which type you are. So it needs to be re-delivered. I will be recorded tomorrow in a different way, and I know it will be so much better. I know it already. My spleen knows without knowing why, but I know myself by now so well. Third line days are always amazing. And I already shifted into the third line day, which means you burn things down, you cut bonds, you tie new bonds, literally, with people, with commitments, with business things, but also with your own thoughts. It's like dropping it. I see it really as, okay, let's drop it, move on. And so I'm fully aware. I have a promise. Defined egos, that we make promises, we keep promises. I'm aware of that, and I have something that gets to be delivered. However, it will be delivered when it will be delivered, and the timing, which is super important, is different for all of us. I have to recognize that I can't necessarily guarantee my timing. Splenic is very much in the moment. The body leads, and it does not matter if you have a longer authority, but it's more important for longer authorities. So if you're an emotional authority, for example, you have to, and you're not in the mood to do anything in that moment, and if it is a call, you have full permission to cancel the call 5 minutes beforehand. Even if it's a class that you're teaching, you're not in the mood, you're going to send out the email and let people know you are in the mood and it's not time to teach, period. Now, most people are not that deep into design that they get it, and they're going to be triggered because they paid for something. And this is what we have to be very aware of, that the majority of people are not yet on a broad level at that stage where design is normal, where differentiation is normal, because everybody's talking about differentiation, and when people live a differentiated life, they're triggered. And that's why I'm sharing this, because these little moments are essential. And this is what it is about. It's the form principle. And you don't have to understand all your gates and channels and all your incarnation crosses and all the planets, whatever. If you cannot follow this, everything else doesn't make even sense. Because holding it, a decision that is correct for you, even though nobody else understands it, and they don't have to. I don't have to. I understand when you say I'm in a mood, I cannot come on a call or whatever. If it was even my clients, I understand because I speak design, I see differentiated. But I don't have to understand the reason for it. I don't have to go into the process. That's not relevant. That it is correct for the other person is relevant. And so with this ego week, what comes up is a lot of manipulation of will, of either yourself, you're manipulating yourself because you're going against your own will, or you're not allowing yourself to want what you really want, or people are going against your will and you cannot hold it. All these things show up, and that is so cross off planning, so that everybody stays in one line and goes into one direction with one background frequency ones. And especially around times of where there's a lot of business to make, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all that. And I definitely do believe that these people who invented it, they know astrology. They know that every time this year the gate shifts in the sun shifts in these gates, and they activate people to sell more and to buy more. I mean, that is manipulation in the program, like right there. Right there. And so, if people understand design, and more will, the more we live it, the more there won't be any questions. And people who know design will not argue with you then when you make that decision. It's just it will be at some point second nature in language, because the more you live it, the more your fractal brings more of these people into your life. And because it's not so common, and even design is very mainstream, but I see it and I hear it, how people use it in their language. It's very much, there's so much effort from the mind to try to speak that way or use that language or you try to understand it, and not yet enough people in the length of the process, that they really understand it on a cellular level. So in those little moments like this, you can train yourself to really follow form principle and communicate it and hold it, and can let people know about your process. I'm not saying apologizing or explaining, but let them understand your process so that it is a educational aspect at the beginning, and then it's normal. So what else wants to come through? Oh yeah, this is what I want to say, because it's all about being correct and what is correct for you personally, and no one else has to understand it but just you. And when people feel that you're in the authority, people trust you, and then they don't need any further explanation. So less words are actually more. And the issue is that when we enter situations not correctly, there will always be a need to fix something, because when we're not correct, the mechanics are off, the fractal does not open to the right fractal, it's a wrong fractal, and then wrong people come into your life, we start relationships, and then we got either have the feeling that something is off, things are not working in our business, we think something is wrong with our offers or with our content, or you gotta fix something, whether it's a thing or ourselves, right? And so this happens when we're entering situations in an incorrect way, meaning overriding our authority. So it is super important that we understand that this little moment of entering a situation in a correct way and holding that energy is in the long run more successful, because you feel good, even though it's maybe uncomfortable for a moment to have this conversation, or to people ask questions, or maybe you fear that someone judges you. But if it's correct, it will sort itself out, and then you don't have to you don't think anymore. It's just what you do, what your body does, and then there's nothing that needs to be fixed. And everything that comes up right now is a very much bringing to the surface what was not correct. What you understand more and more what is correct for you. So everything that comes to the surface, what you then think, oh, it's not working, I need to fix this, I need to understand this. It's just because you entered and created that from a not correct place. And so it is really all about the experience that creates the effect when you live it, when you live your design, and not when you think about it, what is now the correct way to handle the situation based on my design, or what is the correct offer created based on my design. That's not correct, and that's why it doesn't work. And becoming yourself requires really a level of cognition, which is awareness not many have yet. And to be honest, most will never have and get to till 2027, because they never hear about human design and just continue living life as their not self. Or they heard about design and never got into it, or they got not deep enough into it. So the 4% mark is really a thing. And it starts in the little things, and they matter. Everything else is built on that. So that means you have to take action, most won't. And being willing to hold what is true for you, your authority is the only truth. And the better you understand your body speaking to you, and you feel it, contraction, dis-ease, fear, whatever, and can read it in a differentiated way. Because today, for example, there was also the solar plexus lit up for many, and so there was a lot of fear and restlessness and anxiety. And when we give that a meaning and thinking about, oh my God, yesterday I was so high vibe, or I'm not feeling this today, and if I'm not high vibe, then I cannot sell. Like, that is the not self having a tantrum, and this is not it either. So when we really understand, this is form, this is my body telling me, this is my mind spiraling out, and you follow it, then you go against the norm. And it really means living in your design. It means living a very unconventional life. We're trailblazers. We're showing really a new way of living life, of having relationships, of eating, of going through interacting with social media and society, and running our businesses and working with clients, all that. It's unconventional. And this word popped up more and more lately for me. because I can identify myself so well with it. So everything that even this, what I'm doing here, is very unconventional. Um, and so when things are, I'm so willing to kind of let it all crumble very quickly and fast, so that I see what was created from my incorrectness, because I don't want to fix anything anymore. And navigating situations that feel like the in between or the void, or oh my god, everything is falling away, is exactly what will be background frequency when we go into 2027. So this is what I realized today with being on a client call, because she's in it right now, and this holding it and creating the foundation and understanding herself so well while she's healing and she's resting and she's rearranging and she's traveling in Thailand and she's doing all these amazing things and she's doing the work, releasing clients and facing these fears. And that is, and you can do that with trust and keep moving and keep mastering your authority and understanding yourself and the parts so well, and why actually understanding the parts that have been incorrect and that are the reason why content is not landing for your dream clients, or offers are not selling because they have never been invited to, or um, you know, the intention is there, but in front of the camera suddenly the projector aura, or um, the activation of or speaking to your ideal client does not work. Something is off. Like, this is the work in between while the fractal rearranges. And when on the outside it looks everything is crumbling, but what actually is happening is that when you do that, you're willing to do things unconventional, um, we prepare ourselves for the chaos that will be in the collective and on a very big level in 2027. And the business owners, entrepreneurs, the true entrepreneurs will be shown, because what they all call sustainability with recurring income streams and with all these, it will mean nothing, because there is no planning. And say setting up a business model that has recurring income streams, and you say, oh, I have 1 year long contract and they pay me $1,000 per month, it won't work anymore. And the only ones who will be sustainable in their success are the ones who have this inner state of signature: success, peace, satisfaction, self-expression, surprise. And that is the key to success. When you can hold and be calm and navigate and keep moving while everything around you seems to crumble. So it is really about not pushing anything when you know better, and doing the work around why is the tendency of pushing and wanting and fixing there, and going deeper into that, and then relaxing into it and trusting that this is the perfect, correct decision for you. The people who are right for you understand. Everything else will be cleaned and cleared out by the fractal itself, its mechanics. It's no choice, it just works. And that makes you become the passenger, in terms of, I don't have to overthink it. I don't have to overthink if someone understands me or not. I'm just me. And I know what is correct for me, and I get better and better and better because I learn more, because I practice more. And yeah, so that was a long behind the scenes of what was going on behind the scenes of my business, which was the intention to create the club. Um, and I had to remind myself of that today, because it drifted a little bit in a different direction, and I'm kind of having more clarity where the focus is, which is amazing, in alignment with this week. Yeah. And so I'm I really want to encourage you to listen to your authority, and when even 1 second before you are going into a situation and you feel you're pushing, your mind wants you to do something, don't do it, and see what happens. Over time, it will feel so empowering. Living life as yourself is the most empowering thing that you can do for yourself.